wanted to talk today about is where happiness is on your agenda. And I wanted to talk about it because I am about to sign up to attend the Harvard Asian American Alumni Association Summit. It's a big mouthful, HAAAA Summit, coming up in October, just about a month from now. And I had a previous couple of video blogs when I was thinking about going to a mixer in San Francisco leading up to the event, and all of the associated memories that I had about things that were quote-unquote Asian American in college and how I was feeling about that. I ended up going to the event. It wasn't a big deal. And I'm really thinking about going to Boston, to Cambridge, in a few weeks to be part of this. As part of something is just calling me there, and I'm also feeling a little bit of internal resistance about it. And I wanted to talk about it because I have been working through so many of my very closely held beliefs, the beliefs that I have run my life on until this point. And I've been becoming aware of those and making some new choices as I also work with what I have in terms of those beliefs, and discerning what's working well for me and what I can change in order to start creating the life that I envision for myself as a responsible adult. So when I look at the agenda for this event, first of all, I think it's fabulous that we're trying to create a sub-community among the Harvard alumni group, specifically for Asian Americans. I'm not sure why, but it just feels good. It feels like something that's needed and that could be valuable for a lot of people. My question about the agenda, and as I look at the list of participants and who's being highlighted, is that it really feels to me like so much of the product of the approval addiction mentality that I was talking about, and perhaps a different way of framing it instead of the word approval, success in quotes, in terms of societal success, status. And this is so common, I think, among immigrants, children, particularly immigrants of a particular generation. I'm really now understanding, as I listen to my parents' stories through different years, how much World War II really affected an entire generation around the world in a profound, deep way. Personal. A world event affected people on a very personal level that pervaded their generation and generations to come. And that's profound as a realization. And I think particularly in the Asian cultures, and I'll just speak for Chinese because that's where I come from, this idea of success in the eyes of others and approval of one's social group is so strong. The need for it is so strong. And it's handed down as dogma from generation to generation that it has become part of the culture, as much as Chinese food, Chinese language, symbols of the Chinese culture. This idea of success, status, and making it in the eyes of others and creating the appearance and image of success, I think is just as strong. Which is just a curiosity to me now as a coach, and with the training that I've gotten, where I've been in my life since graduating from college. It will be 14 years in 2011. Whoa! But in that time, I also appreciate the amount of learning that I have been able to do about myself and about how those beliefs that we take for granted and call culture, or that we don't question and we call our education, begin to affect our experience of life. And on that agenda, I saw many celebrations of success. I loved that there's so many Asian American Harvard alums in positions of quote-unquote power in our government, in business, in law, and in many professions. And that there's one panel dedicated to quote-unquote the road less traveled and alternative career paths, highlighting a few filmmakers and artists. But again, what I see is a highlighting of making it. And maybe that's where we are as an immigrant group, or children of immigrants, descendants of immigrants. But I actually want to push the conversation further and ask, where is our own definition of happiness and fulfillment in this dialogue? And I really view it as a dialogue. And I want to, and I know how important modeling and mentoring are for creating our models of what a happy and fulfilled life feels like and looks like. And what I see on this agenda is titles, status, positions of power, resources, and wealth, which are all to be celebrated and are a very important part of the conversation. And what I would like to see is an opening up of a different kind of conversation that's that internal one that maybe is more difficult to speak on a platform about, and to be vocal and to celebrate, because it is the vulnerable, tender part of our shared human condition. And that is, where's our space to define what is constituting happiness and fulfillment for ourselves as individual human beings. I absolutely believe now in that universal soul experience, and it has nothing to do with country of origin or culture. It is human spirit. And I want to ask, where is the dialogue about that part of the human spirit? The part that in the Asian American culture, there's no outside voice given to that vulnerability. That is kept somewhere beyond the privacy of your own home, because within family units, there's not a lot of space and permission to be vulnerable, in my experience. So it's in that inner sanctum of your soul. And I would like to bring that question out into the open and ask the Harvard Asian American Alumni Association attendees, another A, what is that? Where are you finding the space for that dialogue? What is your outlet? Is it journaling? Is it a group of support that you found? Is it a topic in your social circles? If it is, I would love to hear that. I have not seen it in my own experience of social circles with Asian Americans. Are you finding it with non-Asian Americans? Which is what I've found in my personal development work. Being in Northern California, being part of some very deep work personally, I have seen close to no Asian Americans in these programs, regardless of college affiliation. Are you finding it in authors? Are you finding it in books, blogs, motivational speakers, television shows, newsletters, websites that speak to that part of you? Or is this a brand new topic and you have no idea what I'm talking about and have already turned this off? But it's a question I'm very, very curious about, and it's a dialogue I am going to Cambridge to open. And I just state that now, that that's what I opened my heart to, because this is the work that I've done myself, experienced myself, and am now offering in the world, totally committed, because I just know how deeply it operates and how transformative it can be for any person of any age and of any origin and any life story. So that's my question.